leaning into, oh, thank you, Jules. Thank you. Really leaning into just these habits that you guys are starting to cultivate, right? Like the foundation, as Jules says. And even when holidays come up, that you go into them and you feel so good because they're no longer this like sense of like, oh, and this doom and this gloom because you have these foundations so locked and loaded. And again, holidays don't mean that we don't ever enjoy the bread pudding or the stuffing or the things that we love. We just look at them differently. We are intentional about building our plates. We're intentional about our habits leading into your dinner, whatever that looks like, and then intentional about just getting right back into your quote unquote normal routine after. And so really, I know we've been hammering this, but are you guys feeling good leaning into tomorrow? You feeling supported? Going into the confidence? Anyone going into the day tomorrow feeling anxious or overwhelmed? I'm going to turn this down. I feel like I'm screaming because my walking pad's on and I can't really hear. So,
One of the, and I'm gonna just add into what Nicole said, like one of the biggest things that you really can do, and you guys have heard me say this over and over again in the last few calls, as well as your check-in messages, I've sent you the same message. The best thing that you can do is to get up in the morning, eat your breakfast, eat all day long, all your scheduled meals, because this concept that we have, so when we talk about like even on the holidays, not restricting yourself, that means we don't want you to restrict yourself from things that you really, really, really want. But we also don't want you restricting yourself and falling into the same pattern that you have probably done for years of not eating and saving your calories for that actual meal, because that is the worst thing that you can do. Okay. In your mind, it may make sense. However, it's one of the worst things that you can do because then you're going to walk into there ravishing.
yeah, yeah.
And you're going to hoover everything and then not feel so great. But if you trust me, like a couple of you have messaged me and said, well, I'm cooking. What's going to stop me from what? I'm like, here's what I would do if I were you. I would tonight put all my meals together. This is just me. So they're there, they're available. Specifically, if I was cooking, I don't have to think about it tomorrow. It's done. I get up in the morning, I eat my breakfast. I've got my little planned meals with protein and, all of the things that I need set out, and I'm eating throughout the day. Then I simply replace whatever meal that your dinner falls on with that meal. And the likelihood of you overindulging is slim to none. And then, you know, as we always tell you, start with protein, put it on the plate, fill it with vegetables. If you love the stuffing, put it on your plate. If you hate the mashed potatoes, don't put it on your plate. If you love the pumpkin pie, have some of the pumpkin pie. If you love the bread pudding, have the bread pudding. But if the green bean casserole really isn't that awesome, don't eat it. Like that's the way you have to go into it. And you might love it all. I like a lot of things. I'm not having Thanksgiving dinner, but if I was, I love a lot of things about it. I would have little things on it all over my plate.
I always say if it's not a full body F
Yeah,
yes, then it's a no for me.
right.
If it's like one of those things that it's like, oh, because I see this happen often that people you just put it on because it's there, right? And just because it's there doesn't necessarily mean that you need to eat it. So if it's not like, oh yeah, that's totally doing it for me, then it's a polite skip or it's a polite pass kind of thing. And allowing yourself to have, a serving of whatever it is that, does it for you. And then, you know, I think more than anything, it's just you leave that table feeling proud. I guess I'm trying to find a better word than proud, but you leave that table going, I truly controlled food this year. Like it wasn't, you don't leave this table, you don't leave the table with some sort of FOMO or I wish I would have or I didn't or pissed off at yourself because you ate too much. You leave the table just really truly like you feel good, like your belly feels good, you didn't make yourself sick and you're just like I totally dominated that. There was no scarcity, there was no the pie consumed me and then it just stared at me for the rest of the night. And I, was pissed off because I told myself I couldn't have, and then I left the place, pissed off that I ate the pie. If you want to eat the pie, have a couple bites of the pie.
Mhm. Yeah. And I love how Nicole talk. I always forget how she says it, but the full body yes, like she says, and like I actually add on to that. That full body yes is like you hear me talk about the 4 bite rule. It doesn't have to be 4 bites. I say 4 bites because generally, and Nicole, you can. I've watched her eat donuts, so I know she agrees with me. I always use donuts but I've actually seen her eat the donut, and that first bite, like your eyes roll back in your head. That's that full body. Like, holy shit, this was so good. So if you're wondering what that feels like or what that is, the second bite, it's the same thing. By the time you get to the fourth bite, you're like, I'm good. I satisfied that itch. I mean, that doesn't mean it's 4 bites, but you catch my drift on that. Does that make sense? Like, and a lot of times we go past that. And it's with anything. Like, I don't, I'm not a big chip eater, but it's like that's how we get to the bottom of the bag of chips without
Mm,
realizing it
yeah,
because we
yeah,
just keep going versus, oh, that's good. I'm done now.
yep.
You know what I mean? So that's the way to look at it, guys. And if you fill your plate full of protein, which is turkey tomorrow, and you eat a lot of that, the likelihood of you even wanting to overindulge in other things is not going to happen. And here's the other thing I'll tell you too. Like if you're specifically if you're new to the program and you eat 5 meals a day and you have a snack, you know, kind of mapped out in your actual program, your plan, your guide, or you're used to eating 5 meals, eat the snack after that too. Like don't not eat that because it's gonna stop you from like wanting to snack on other stuff if you don't want to. So like I just say eat all the food, and that's really a good way of looking at the holidays. I'm gonna have sushi.
Yeah, I'd rather have sushi than turkey, to be honest with you. I'm more of a pie girl, but I still use a level of, and I think that this is important to bring up. I still use a level of, it's no different than if I were to go out to a meal. I still use a level of like, okay, I might skip on the wine because the dessert does it more for me. So there's still a level of, I don't want to say trade-off, but just intentionality in my head of like, okay, if there's dinner rolls and there's potatoes and there's wine and there's dessert, I'll pick two of them. I'm okay. I'm gonna have the potatoes and the dessert. And there's still some, like I said, level of awareness around that for me. And so being able to utilize what are those things that really do it for you. You might love the wine and the bread too, but what are those two items that you know that your belly's gonna be full, you're gonna be satiated, you're not leaving the table starving. You've got your taste of whatever it is that, is that sweet treat for you, or some people aren't sweet. I'm a sweet girl, but maybe it's the potatoes and the bread. I don't know. But whatever it is, just still using some discernment around that you don't have to have all the things to enjoy, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But you also don't have to restrict. There's intentionality behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you're gonna, you guys will feel completely different. I hear it all the time when people like lean into that. Like, holy shit, I felt so good for the first time in the holidays. I wasn't laying on the couch, full belly. All of those things uncomfortable. Same when people go on vacations. Like a couple of people of you guys have just gone on vacations, and if you go into even that with that type of
Same
intention,
mentality. Yep.
yeah, you feel so much better. You're the one on the cruise or the vacation that feels like $1,000,000 while you're watching your friends going, well,
Drinking or eating themselves into
right,
oblivion. Yeah.
exactly. And they don't feel good, and you come home feeling really, really good. So it's the same thing with the holidays. So don't ever let it, be fearful. And then I love what Nicole said. Like, you guys have also heard me say this in your check-ins, like just get right back on it the next day. Like there's no,
That's what
I'll
people
start
skip.
Monday.
Yeah. It's like, well, I already indulged. I blew at Thanksgiving. Well, and now it's Black Friday. Now it's the weekend. And then you roll around to Monday, 4 days in. And that's where people tend to get themselves in a little bit of a pickle. So,
Yeah. And that's gonna hold true through this entire holiday season, guys. Like, because you're gonna have those events that are gonna happen. Thanksgiving's the kickoff of it all. This is now gonna be going on into the new year. So, it's always, and it's planning. You guys, like, I think it was a couple of Tuesdays ago, I talked about this. I really recommend planning and having a strategy because some of you have a lot of events and some of them, yeah, like, Nicole talks about the dinner, picking two things. Pick a couple events that really feel good to you, that are going to have some things there that you want to indulge in. But if there's events that, a work event that's really at a crap restaurant, go and enjoy the company, but maybe you eat before you go. There's nothing wrong with that. I think Nicole talked about it on last Wednesday's call, or a couple Wednesdays ago, right? About that polite,
Every occasion is a
okay,
special occasion.
right.
Yeah.
So like, you don't feel obligated for every holiday event that you have to lean in. You don't, guys. You don't. But
Most of the
again,
time, it's not even worth it either. I go out and I'm like, I could have made better food at home. This is like lame. It's not, it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.
if you plan it ahead, then you have a strategy, and it's easier to navigate than these events too. But then again, the ones again that you do want to involve yourself in, don't skip out on your meals. Plan around it, eat all your food, and then the key is going to be to get right back on it. And you're going to have a lot of little get back on it, during the holidays. But that's going to be your key to maintaining. And
Does
some
it-
of you will, I'm sorry, Nicole.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Some of you will continue to lose weight. Um, but also, and so those of you that are new and you're doing a reset and all of, don't look at this, but also you guys have to be, when we're kind of playing with this, we're going to come in a little and then out again. If you walk through this holidays maintaining, bonus.
That is
Like, bonus. Yeah.
fire.
Now, a lot of you will continue to lose weight. However, like, don't this is where you have to give yourself some patience. You got to be a little patient and give yourself a little grace, because if you are going to lean into these things, there's a good chance, like, if you maintain that, that's good.
Yeah. Well, that's fire because so many
Yeah.
the holidays, like, going to the New Year's, 10 pounds heavier kind of thing. So being able to sustain and maintain through the holidays is amazing. Does anyone feel like they need any additional support or have any questions on how to handle a certain situation or just not feeling great going into this thing? Renee, girlfriend, hello.
Oh, I think I have, hello, can't talk. It's Renee.
I feel like this might be a little redundant because we have hammered
Yeah.
this concept in for the whole month of basically November. Oh, Kate, have a question? Yeah, is that you raising your hand? Go for it.
Need help, Kate? Damn phone. I gotcha.
I know it's the
No,
worst.
I always have to like figure out how to unmute this thing. I feel like I'm 90 years old when I'm using Zoom. Um, I think, when you talked about intentionality, I think that's the biggest thing around the holidays and food, because like I'm a school administrator, and so this time of year the parents come in, and I'm sure people who work in offices, whatever, you get food brought in.
It's galore, holiday treats galore. Everybody's bringing and making.
Their love language is they want to bring us food and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like, a lot of us have grown up in food households, that food is our emotional thing. I mean, I'm an emotional eater. I'll eat. I'm a mindless emotional eater. I will, if I'm at home, I will walk into the pantry and stare and go, what can I eat? And I think the intentionality is, do I want it? Is this something that, what is it, Marie Kondo? It sparks joy. Does this spark joy?
Yeah,
Is
like,
this something like tomorrow I'm making, like, I have a small, it's my husband and my boys and my mom. So I don't have to make a huge turkey. I said I'm making chicken breasts. I'm going to make my dressing, which I haven't made in years, which is my mother-in-law's recipe. Like, I want it. I want the dressing. I'm going to make the dressing and mashed potatoes and a vegetable. And then I'm going to make a chocolate cake. So those are things that I'll intentionally be eating, but I don't want to go nuts on it. And I think the intentionality for us is not feeling the pressure that we've got to eat this food. that this food is going to bring us joy. It's we talked, I think, about in the last call about, it's about the family and the connection and being together, that should spark the joy, not just the food. And this season is so easy to just get gifts of food and all this kind of stuff. And today they brought in Cinnabon, and they had Cinnabuns, and I was like, I'm gonna have a little bit. I had a little bit, like literally, like I cut off a tiny sliver of the end because it's the frosting, and I'm a frosting gal. And I had it, and I was like, it's fine. And then I was done. I was over it. Like I didn't need to have any more.
Mhm.
So I think as we go through this season and we go through even just our day-to-days, is what does food mean to us? It should be something that that fuels our body, but also, we enjoy eating it, but it isn't the end all be all.
Yep. You just know.
So, that's that, I always hear people go, oh, food is fuel. And then it sounds boring. Like you just have to have plain turkey or plain chicken or whatever. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can have good stuff that you like to eat and that's seasoned, that's good. But we just have to get out of that mindset of, you grew up in the 70s with the Twinkies and so much crap. My mom was a granola mom, so I never got anything. So the problem is now as an adult, I can eat. In college, I gained my weight because I ate Doritos and cream cheese, Cool Ranch Doritos and cream cheese. That's good stuff, man. You can eat sit with a tub of cream cheese and just dip Doritos in it.
Yeah.
It's great. Well, it's great when you're 20 and you don't have the metabolism. But anyway, so all that to say is, I think, I just encourage all of us to just be intentional, eat the stuff that sparks your joy, but you don't need to go crazy, because that's not what it's all about. It's about your family and about being together and that sort of thing. So that's the attitude that I'm going into this with. So
you nailed it. And you know how much I love the word intentionality. It's my favorite word in the dictionary. I think there's also a place where we accept, the longer when we start to cultivate this as a lifestyle, and this is just, you guys know how much I talk about this, is no longer just what you do to chase a result. It truly is who you are and who you become. We accept that there is a world that there are times you have to turn the food down because it does not work for your goals. And if like we said, we made every event a special event, like Kate was saying, I was in hospitality world. So it was the same thing. It was just, vendors bring in food, and from, I swear, October all the way through December, there's a potluck every single day that was loaded with pastries and pies and cookies. And I worked in catering. So there's just food everywhere all of the time. And so if I said yes to everything all of the time, I would not have a physique, not even like I feel comfortable in a body I feel comfortable in, that, I can move well, and that, supports my habits and my lifestyle. And so there is a world where when you start this journey, normalizing saying no as not missing out, but normalizing saying no as supporting your best self, your best interest, and that not be and we get angry because we can't have, and looking at it as restriction, because that's how we want to look at it, is I have to restrict myself and I have to say no. And it's like, well, if that's the way you choose to look at it, because I look at it as, I really want to feel my best. I want to perform my best. I want to be my best. And so there's a level where we have to normalize that some of these things are going to come with no, not thank you. It doesn't work within my protocols for today, or my nutrition or my guide or whatever it is. But just ultimately, that doesn't mean we always turn it down. But there's a world where there's always going to be the event. There's always going to be the thing. And if we made every occasion a special occasion to normalize overeating, or I think society just normalizes gluttony in of itself. You go to things like Cheesecake Factory, normal, like serving sizes at Cheesecake Factory are for enough to feed 4 people. That is what, society is. Yeah, they're huge. They're massive. So just being able to go in and just say, there's a world where it's okay to say no. And no doesn't mean restriction. No means that you're honoring your best self. Because for a fact, it doesn't make you feel good. In the moment, it might. But, like nobody's walking away from, a whole dinner at Cheesecake Factory and be like, oh yeah, I feel amazing. That was, it's not the reality. So I think I love that you brought that up because it's not just the holidays. There's going to be birthdays and not your birthday, but I'm saying, your best friend's birthday and then this person's birthday and then this thing and then this thing and this work event. And again, if every occasion was a special occasion, we would all struggle.
Yeah, I agree. And I love that, even some of you have messaged me recently about other things that you might be even doing on the holiday. Somebody just told me like, I'm not sure if I think it was Brenda. Somebody messaged me and said, I'm excited for the holidays. I'm going to, of course, she's enjoying dinner, but like excited about going to the gym with her daughter
Mm.
and then taking a family walk, and so a few of you guys have messaged me with different things. And I love that because it also leans into a little bit of what Kate was saying too. Like, where are there other opportunities? Yeah, enjoy the food, but this is, looking at what this really is. And are there other things um, that you may want to enjoy or do throughout the holidays or that you could do? And even asking your family, like I think I talked about this a couple of times, guys, but in the past, when I've coached other women, I have had them say to me, you know what? I asked my kids, do you really like the cookies? What's your favorite part of the holidays? And the response, and I remember this woman vividly. She's like, for years I was doing this, making this big ordeal, stressing myself out over dinner. She's like eating all of it. And when I asked my family what meant the most to them, was going out and looking at Christmas lights and spending time. This was her kids. Like, ask. I had another woman that was like, so asked her kids, like, well, is it okay if I don't make as many cookies? They were like, Mom, we don't eat the cookies anyway. You do. She was like, shit. You like literally, this is true stories, guys, of past clients I've had. She was like, shit, they were right. She's like, I didn't need to make the cookies. I was the one eating them. Kids didn't care. So sometimes I think to add on to what Kate and Nicole are saying is like, we also have this story that we're telling ourselves based on what we think to be true. And maybe if we just ask, you know, not saying that you still don't have the food and make the dinner, but there might be other things that are even more important to your family and your loved ones and your friends.
Asking you shall receive.
Hmm?
Asking you shall receive.
Yeah, you never know. You might be surprised. Yeah.
All right, I don't really have anything else unless you guys don't have anything to add. Thanks for popping in there too, Kate. I think that's, I love when you guys use my language. Makes me so happy.
Yeah. I love it. I see Jen eating. She's fueling her body.
I am.
I kind of put her through the ringer the last 2 days.
Look at, I made a half a turkey
Look
and
at
it just so happens to be on my meal plan. So I'm eating a fresh half of a turkey breast. Not the whole thing right now. I just measured it out, but I smoked it and I was like, oh, this is good. This is convenient because it actually ends up being on my freaking high carb day. So that's what I'm having for myself. My boys are having ribs. So, but again, like I don't have to eat that and it's okay. And I work in a school setting too. So I totally get it, Kate. Like they just shower you with all of these goodies and the kids bring you chocolate. And I'm like, I like chocolate, but I don't really want it right now. So I just end up giving them away to other people.
Yeah.
And
They're
I
great neighbor gifts. You do that and they like pack and people bring in and that's like the worst, but I'm a total regifter that way. 'Cause people, I mean, like all the neighbor gifts, I don't know. Do you guys do that in your area? Is that a thing where people just like your whole neighborhood comes and just like, and I'm like, who has time for this? It's more baked goods than so I just I'm like the worst. I totally regift, but I'm like, here you go.
Yeah.
So,
yep. So,
Yeah.
and it's okay. It's okay to just say no and to honor yourself.
Mhm. I love it.
amen.
I love it, guys. And there's always, and I think just to add on, if you, didn't catch Coach Jen's Zoom, I think it was last Saturday, she even taught you like some really great things to make in a way different way, you know, that you can bring to the holidays if you're bringing something or making foods to even make healthier versions of it. You know, sometimes people don't even realize, like when I used to make more holiday dinners, I would always make them a little bit healthier and nobody would even know, really. And I'd be like, you know what you just ate? Like, and they didn't even know they weren't eating that full version of it. So you can always make it. And we dropped a recipe book for you guys too. That does have some healthier options as well, even desserts. All right. I just wanted to make sure that you guys felt seen and heard. And if you guys had any questions, you had an opportunity to ask them before we get into the holidays. So if you guys are solid, I say happy holidays. Have a great day tomorrow and grateful for each and every one of you.
Yes, you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you guys. Will be
In
December.
December.
It'll usually be Christmas.
Yeah, so don't forget about the vision board party. I posted it, guys. If you
That's gonna be
haven't
good.
done
Yeah.
one with me, you're gonna want to do it. It's a lot of fun. All right.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Thanksgiving. Bye, everyone.
Oh.